Welcome to Tavern Talk 716, coming to you from 60 feet down in the bunker. Here are the hosts: international best-selling author Keith White Jr. and Duran Gomez.
They said that if they can possibly remove it and keep it alive because it's pregnant.
Your hemorrhoid is pregnant?
That's what they think.
Really?
Yeah. So we're gonna find out.
Oh, hey there! We'll talk more about that later. Hey there, everyone! Tavern Talk 716. I am international best-selling children's author and freaked out Keith White Jr. With me, as always, is...
Welcome back. That was quite a long commercial break.
No, that's not a commercial break. That's just while we're not on the air. We go a week in between shows. We don't have commercials. Like that was one show, and then there's a week, and then we do another show.
Wait, a whole week's gone by?
It was 1 week ago that I came down here and we did a show. You are actually wearing the exact same outfit you wore last week.
It's not. It's this week.
It is this week, but last week it was this week.
No, this is the same show.
This is a completely different show. This is not the same show. This is the show hosted by Keith White Jr. and...
I gotta stop eating those homegrown mushrooms. I am Lawrence Gomez, a.k.a. Duran, a.k.a. Salvatore Morocco, a.k.a. I thought this was still last week's show. My apologies.
Also, and you see, thanks to the quarantine that's going on, my skin is so pasty white that I'm messing with the lighting. It keeps lightening and darkening if I move. See that? That's
pretty impressive.
Unfortunately, until we get the rest of our equipment in here, this is although I keep saying that, we're episode 15 right now. We still don't have our equipment yet. The quarantine has slowed everything down, so we're filming with the bare bones, other than some really nice lighting equipment, which is not helping this week because my pasty white skin is just ruining the shots.
We're midsummer.
We are midsummer!
Oh, because of the toxic air, you can't get sunlight to your skin.
Right.
That's why you're not getting any color.
Right, you got it. That's what it is.
Oh,
because
man.
the quarantine is still happening here in June, and you have not left the bunker since May. I would say you haven't been out of the bunker since May.
Yes. Let's go with that.
Right. And you are still wearing the same outfit as I said from last week. You still have the golden shoes on. If anybody missed last week's show, Duran is dressed like what we call in the biz an imbecile. That's, you don't have to worry, that's a fancy word for a fancy dressed businessman.
Yeah, well, I'm in Bessel, so it's
right.
It makes sense.
You are in Bessel. If there was ever somebody that was in Bessel, it's you. I will ask, what is a Bessel?
Something of grandiose size and splendor.
So something of grandeur is a Bessel.
Bessel, yes.
And you are in that world, so you are in fact an imbecile. Okay. And we'll cheers to that, and we'll cheers at the beginning of the show. So, Tavern Talk 716, where you get all the best and worst of everything in the world.
So I lost a week in there somewhere. Fill me in. What's going on?
What's going on in the last week is the show is called Mutant X. Last week we discussed a show, and it's not the 90s, it was the 2000s. Last week we discussed a show I said from the late 90s, it was actually from the early 2000s. It was an X-Men show without actual X-Men in it. It's called Mutant X. It was made by Marvel Television. And they didn't have the rights to the X-Men because 20th Century Fox did. So they went as close to the X-Men as they could without being the X-Men and made that into a show. Okay. And that show is called Mutant X. It was on for 3 seasons. And I still can't believe that you are unaware of this, as you are the X-Men guy. We have a show.
Sounds like something Canada.
We have a television show. And you spent 10 minutes of it last week reading a comic book and explaining it to people.
Well, if you need the explanation, then there's got to be people in the TV world that need it.
I think anybody watching this show needs a lot of explanations on a lot of things. I need explanations about the people who would actually sit and watch this show. So I can understand why they need explanations as well. Not that I would ever insult anyone watching the show out there, because please continue to watch. But I probably wouldn't watch this show.
I need explanations to get through this show.
Yeah, you do. And luckily, you're like the people. I make explanations, you hear them, and then they hear them. And this lighting this week is really killing me. I don't know, maybe I should...
We do seem washed out this week.
Yeah, I'll sit like this.
My apologies. Oh, there you go. Just do that.
Yeah, I'll just sit up here.
That works. You really bring out all the color graphics and the comics behind us.
I don't know what's going on with the lighting this week.
It's pretty great.
We're going to spend a half an hour with me complaining about the lighting. So, welcome to Tavern Talk 716. This week is lighting complaining 716. And this is really, I don't know if this is going to work for all the show, but I'll do it. I got a Joker shirt on this.
You're a consummate professional.
I am also.
If there's one thing Keith White is,
handsome,
and there is only one thing,
handsome.
It's consummate professional.
Smart, attractive, intelligent.
Those are all stretches.
Oh yeah, I'm also very good at stretching. Stretching my muscles, stretching for time. Whatever the stretch is that's needed, I do it. I keep moving around and I keep messing with the lighting. It's like I'm a magician. Ta-da! It's like the power's going on. That's my immune power.
We have to put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode for the
at the beginning of this episode.
For the light-sensitive individuals may cause seizures.
This is like that Pokemon cartoon back in the day. Remember, it was giving people seizures because of the flashing lights. We have that episode now. Hopefully, we're going to make the news. Then people will watch.
Yeah, you at least get 2 new viewers.
Washed out?
2 of the 6 remaining people alive on the planet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that I told you last week that only 20 or 30 people are left on planet Earth. And that everyone else
to think that I'm one of them.
Right? And you, because you were so smart to come to this bunker and just not leave.
Yeah.
You were one of the smart ones.
It's working out for me.
It has been working out very well for you, although that giant bucket of poop over there is really gross. You think you could have put it in another room.
Well, you see, yesterday's bucket was smelling, so I got rid of it. But now that's today's bucket.
Where do you put it?
In the other bucket.
You take the bucket and you put it in the other bucket?
In the other bucket.
So you just have like a couple of buckets, one's full, one's empty, and you just keep moving it back and forth? What happens when it gets full?
Well, luckily, I have an interesting and friendly congregation of rodents. And they love the poop.
Oh my God, what are we talking about?
So they usually empty out the full buckets, so then it becomes empty. And then I have an empty bucket. You asked.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't at a loss because of what you said, but because I asked. That was on me. 100% on me.
If you watch all of these bunker episodes, you will 100% by the end of this series know how to survive in a bunker.
Right. If nothing else, we are absolutely teaching you how to survive an apocalypse down here. And I would say that even that we're not doing. So really, we are doing nothing. And if you watch this show from the first episode all the way to the last, kudos to you, because this has got to be hard to get through. So that's excellent.
Let's start a topic.
All right, you your topic guy. Topic guy.
I am topic
What's
guy,
your
but
topic?
I am without my handy dandy topic notebook. I think the rats got into that as well.
So I've been coming
off
up
the
with
top of my head. I am going to go with. Did you see the sequel to Pacific Rim?
I didn't see the first Pacific Rim.
Well, that went nowhere. The Pacific Rim movies. You're constantly giving me things for me to watch, which I won't. Let me give you something for your list to watch, which you won't as well. The Pacific Rim movies. There's 2 of them. 2 different stories, so don't look for one story to pick up where the other one left off. Actually, there is some continuity, but they do feel like 2 different stories. They're very enjoyable. I loved them. Pacific Rim, It's the kaiju. The whole kaiju idea is right up my alley. I love Gamera. I love Godzilla. I love Jet Jaguar.
Jet Jaguar. Yeah, I like Godzilla movies. I pretended to be bored there.
So
but
Pacific Rim.
I wasn't.
It's where it's at. You should check them out.
I do want it. It's just one of those movies you see a trailer or a movie comes out and you're like, oh, I want to see that. And just somehow escapes you, and all of a sudden it's like a decade later and you just haven't seen it yet.
Well, viewers at home,
I'm
probably
squeaky
relate.
again this week.
Oh man, I thought we fixed that.
Last week I wasn't squeaky. This week I'm squeaky again.
Viewers can probably relate much like I can, where you see a trailer. I'm gonna just repeat what you said. You see a trailer, you're like, I want to see that, and then it just gets away from you. It's totally understandable. It happens. This is one of those movies I'm reminding you, and I am telling you as a trusted viewer of cinema. I would hope to you. We enjoy a lot of the same things.
We do. Junk.
Real garbage.
Yeah, we love crap. If you've been watching this show, you can tell we love crap. We love crap. We love making crap. He makes crap right over in a bucket, right over there. So
that comes easy.
I'll bet it does, especially when your entire diet is beer and your own urine.
I grow my own mushrooms.
Right, I forgot. And the mushrooms that you grow from your poop.
They grow really nicely in it. Who I'd argue with a good thing?
And then you wonder why every time you invite me over for dinner, I pass. I'm just busy.
I lost a whole week, so I'm really not gonna. I'm not gonna fault you on that one.
You thought it was still last Monday when it's actually this Monday. Woo. Although I will say, once last Monday becomes last Monday, then this Monday does become this Monday. I think I just invented time travel.
This is where you put a disclaimer underneath me, and it says, I think Duran officially broke him.
I broke him! I broke him. At least for a moment he was broken. He was rebooting. He was rebooting there. The Windows logo came up, said Windows 3.1.
For those of you viewers who may not know me personally, I am actually in a constant state of rebooting.
And that's what rebooting.
So do we have a Nickel T Buffalo segment this week?
We do have a Nickel T Buffalo
segment. Is he still at the
Nerd
Terminal?
And I guess Duran feels that we're going a little too far off the rails, because when Duran feels we're going off the rails, he pulls the nickel card every time. It's like the when you're parachuting and you gotta pull that ripcord to get that parachute out. That's the Nickel T card for Duran.
No, Nickel T card is the second parachute because the first one didn't go.
Yeah, the emergency.
You pull the emergency string, and that's
emergency
Nickel T
shoot. That's Nickel T Buffalo, everyone. So that's what Duran's doing right now. So yes, we do have Nickel T Buffalo, who is at the Nerd Terminal in Cheektowaga, and we can cut to him, see what he's up to, and for anyone who doesn't know, what are you doing?
I'm ready for Nickel. Nickel and I are dance partners, so it's like whenever I think of Nickel, it makes me want to dance.
Well, then I won't describe anymore. We'll just cut to him right now. Our friend Nickel T Buffalo at the Nerd Terminal.
Hopefully one day he finally escapes that place.
He may
or
escape.
Is he there because he just is enjoying himself?
No, he said that he was going to stay there. He's going to watch the store. He's going to make sure that nothing happens. That there was no.
Oh yeah, because vandals.
Right, there's no vandals. There's no burglaries. He said if anything happens there, he's going to know. He's writing it all down. He is on the case, as they say. Nickel T Buffalo on the case. Squeak. Were you squeaky too this week?
Oh, I am a little squeaky. We're gonna take care of that. We're gonna constantly improving this show, and we are going to 86 these chairs, I guarantee.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna continue to do what we're doing. We're kind of right. You know what? Really, what we're doing right now. And most of the episodes have been this just because the world closed. But the first couple, we were in taverns and doing tavern-y type Tavern Talk, which were called Tavern Talk 716. And then the quarantine hit, and we were just like, brrr. And right now we're treading water. And not that I'm saying the shows are bad or that it's not entertaining in some way, but we're just treading water. Like, we ordered more equipment for filming. We ordered more lights and microphones and a tripod and a camera stand. We ordered all these things, and we want to improve the show, and we want to go on the road and go to different bars and restaurants and interview owners and do all these different things. But because the world went to a standstill, so right now we're treading water. So you're watching us tread water. It's not like there's anything even going on in the world.
Yeah, there's not much for us to talk about. It's true.
So we sit down and we just jibber jab, and hopefully someone gets a couple laughs out of what we're doing. But it's like if there was something going on in the world, we'd have more to talk about. It'd be like, hey, what'd you do this week? I went down to the beach and a crab bit my toe and I jumped around. But we don't have that. That doesn't happen. So instead,
there's no daily stories.
Right.
Because I'm just in a bunker.
Right.
So I really don't have anything interesting.
So instead it's like, hey, what'd you do this week? Well, I woke up and I wasn't sure what day it was, so I made eggs, and then I had 18 cans of beer. And then I passed out. And the next day I woke up and I was out of eggs, so I had pancakes. And I had 18 beers and I passed out. And then if it's Duran, it's like, I woke up, wasn't sure what day it was, tried to climb the ladder, slipped down the pee, fell all the way back to the bottom, and then I woke up and it was this week again.
That's like my last 3 days.
That's my point. So there's not a whole lot going on, and I'm going to take a sip.
I'm pretty impressed by your knowledge of what I've been up to in your absence.
That is because if you were to follow that camera, you would see that there was that ladder. There's a little camera all the way down.
He's watching what I do.
And it comes right in. And boop, boop,
I
boop,
guarantee
boop, boop,
you.
And then every time he goes to buy that bucket, I turn the camera off. It's a no way, no buckets.
I guarantee you Keith White Jr. watching that closed circuit camera of me in my day-to-day is far more boring than what you're experiencing watching us trying to get through this show.
I have something to talk about. 2 weeks ago, we tried to call Ranting Ron
Ranting
on the Zoom machine, and he did not answer.
In fact,
did you see that? You don't watch our show, so
yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this or not. But not only did Ranting Ron not answer our call, which that you were aware because you were here, but in the middle of our show, he included the footage of us chit-chatting while we were waiting for him to answer, and then he inserted a paid advertisement trying to find replacements for us on the show.
Whoa.
Right in the middle of our show, Rant and Ron put an advertisement looking for new hosts for a show. Then who's going to host it? We're in the middle of a quarantine.
This means war.
Duran means war now.
Ron!
Tomez means war. What was it? Tomez? Is that what you called yourself last week?
Tangomez.
Tangomez means war in Portuguese. So he is the Portuguese man of war. I mean, he's not Aldo.
With that being said, didn't I fire Ron? Who is he thinking he is to replace us? I fired him.
He paid for an advertisement in the middle of our show. Money that I have not seen. I don't know if you've seen money from Rant and Ron for an advertisement he paid for during our show that he's trying to replace us on a show he no longer produces. And he's trying
Things
to replace
are rotten
us.
in Denmark.
And that rot is called Rant and Ron. Rotten Rant and Ron! You stink, Ron! So I didn't know if you saw that 2 weeks ago. I didn't mention it last week because I thought maybe you were going to bring it up. You didn't, so I'm bringing it up this week. 2 weeks ago, go back in the archives, right in the middle of the show, right before we go to Nickel T. Buffalo, we try to call Ron on Zoom because we're trying to be gentlemen. We're trying to have a nice, friendly conversation. We weren't going to talk...
couple stand-up guys, if you ask me.
Couple stand-up citizens. We weren't going to talk crap to him, even though we said we were. That was a joke. We weren't going to make fun of him for being fired, because we were just saying that as a joke. That was nothing more than comedy for the program.
We just talk.
What we wanted to do was call him, and we were going to be like, Ron, hey, we think you're great. You're a great producer. Thanks a lot for doing everything you do for us. And what does he do? What does he do? He pays for an advertisement in the middle of the show where he tells us he's going to replace us. You can't replace us. We're awesome. We're awesome. I'm awesome. Duran's okay, but I'm awesome.
Irreplaceable and undebeatable.
I'm undebeatable. He doesn't know English, but I am awesome. And Duran is with me. I'm awesome and Duran's with me.
I am here.
Duran's here. I'm awesome and Duran's here. So, you can't replace us, because if you were going to replace Duran, I would be upset about that for a little while, but eventually I'd get used to it. But if you were to replace me, then Duran would leave. And he also said he hopes we get locked in this bunker and can't get out. Stupid Ron doesn't even realize that Duran's been locked in this bunker for months.
He doesn't know that I am locked in this bunker and I can't get out.
Moron. Ron. Rotten, rantin', Ron. They're calling you Triple R. Ron.
Now I gotta start, on top of not watching the shows I'm supposed to be watching and
Or
not
watching this show.
and not writing down the topics I'm supposed to be writing down. Now I have to plot the destruction of Ron, which I'm not.
The ranting Ron. Rotten, ranting Ron.
Ron, ranting Ron. The Triple R.
Triple R. On the plus side, while we were at Nickel T Buffalo, while we were talking to him, the lighting appears to have gotten somewhat better. It's a little darker than it was, but it's not like fading in and out.
And you can still see us.
Whatever Nickel did,
I think.
if they can't, then they can hear us. And if they can't hear us, then they're watching something else, and they're probably better
And if
for
they
it.
can't hear us, they can definitely hear your chair.
It's not that bad. Oh, there it goes. All right, you can hear my chair. So what? I'm an animated fellow. I get all over the place, especially when I hear about rotten ranting Ron and in his quest to replace us on Tavern Talk 716. Guess what, Ron? We own this show. This is our show, and you don't work here anymore, Ron.
Yeah, thanks to yours truly,
Yeah, because
the
Duran
host
fired
of this
you.
show.
Duran fired you, so you're fired. I don't know. That's what probably is. He's jealous.
He has every right to be. He was once the producer of one of the hottest shows on.
This is, I don't know
air.
if you know this, but on YouTube, if you look it up on YouTube, this is true. We are the #1 Buffalo-based tavern talk show taking place in a bunker during a quarantine in the year 2020, hosted by guys named Keith and Duran.
You heard it here.
#1!
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
#1. Ron could never host a show #1 in that category, no matter how hard he tried, okay? Okay? Because we are #1 in that category. We're always going to be #1 in that category, because this is Tavern Talk 716. This is owned by us, not Rotten Rant Ron!
Those are some solid statistics.
Because they're true. Any true statistics are solid statistics.
Statistics.
I took a sip again. You didn't talk.
I said statistics.
Yeah, but after I was like, statistics. Like, you had a whole moment there.
Yeah.
We were on a roll.
I was still basking in those amazing statistics.
basking in them. I gave you numbers and they gave you feels. Things are happening. Things are happening. Squeak, squeak. See, at least I did noise going
So,
while you take a sip.
I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up. We discussed a few weeks back. It could be a couple months. Could be a year ago.
This show's only been on for 35 years.
I don't know time. We discussed.
I don't know him either, but here's a good
We
guy.
discussed the day in the life of Tego Torres. What do you know of those productions? Are we gonna be featuring those sometime soon? Gives our 3 or 4 viewers at home something to look forward to.
We did discuss the day in the life of Tango Torres shorts, and I very much would love to get those into the show here. So hopefully we're going to be doing that in the coming weeks.
Do we have contact with Mr. Torres?
Well, he did co-host this show a few weeks back when you and I took the
Yeah,
week
but
off.
then I thought they died.
No, you said that.
Oh, I thought they died.
What I said was Tango Torres got way more handsome. Because you said he had plastic surgery because he's such an uggo under that mask. Very Ron-like under that mask. Whoa! Shots fired! Rotten! Ron! So no, he's still alive and well. What we're doing is we're currently, because it's quarantine, it's tough. We're trying to arrange a camera crew that can go to his house.
Is he still roommates with Nickel T?
Well, that's a tough question to ask because Nickel T has been spending the last few
Oh
months
yes,
at the Nerd Terminal.
Resides at the Nerd Terminal.
Right. So I don't know who's paying his half of the rent back in the apartment with Tango Torres. So maybe they're still living together. Maybe Tango's found a new roommate. I don't really know how that works. But once we can find a camera crew that's willing to go there and film, then we're gonna insert those, sprinkle those right into the episode here, like a piano.
We are still trying to bring you those day in the life of Tango Torres, and I also hear that there may be potential for the wacky outtakes of Nickel T and Tango.
Oh, like a sitcom. But that wouldn't be able to happen until after Nickel leaves the terminal.
Okay.
Once Nickel's out of the terminal and he's back at home, think of the hijinks that those two...
I can only imagine
would get
the
into,
wacky...
especially after all that time apart. They've had all this time apart,
place.
And now he's coming back into the house. It's going to be like The Odd Couple times 12.
My goodness.
Which is a lot.
I am looking forward to that, I'll tell you.
And I am sort of looking forward to that. So that's at least 1.5 looking forward to's. That's good math. That's almost Steiner math. So 33 7/8% says that'll be coming soon to this show. Holler if you hear me. And with that, I would say we're just towards the end of the show here. Another one bites the dust full of nothing. So.
Another gold.
Pure gold.
Show.
We're here. We are the gold factory. You know, we produce so much gold here, you turned it into shoes. Wrong foot. There you go. All right. See, we produce so much gold here, you turned it into shoes, and a couple weeks ago, you turned it into a shirt. That's how much gold we produce here on Tavern Talk 716. And if you were to go to the Rant and Ron show, which drops every Thursday on YouTube, you would see what happens when you don't produce gold.
Yeah, you tune into our show every week, and you're just gonna get classic and timeless television.
This show is evergreen. This show, it will be funny as it is right now. It will be this funny forever. So if this show is not funny right now, it will never be funny. But if it's funny, it'll be funny forever. I think it's more of the first one than the second one. But either way, this show
Time will tell.
This show is timeless. And we're in a bunker with comic books. This could be 20 years from now. It'll look the same. Everything's the same. Ron, he's talking about, like, sports. Like, 2 minutes after that airs, that's old news. You go, hey, remember that Sabres game last night? Well, 2 days from now, it's not last night anymore. Just like Duran and his week-long issue with what day it is. Same thing with Ron's show. So... you can remember that this show is never going to be any funnier than it is right now, and for that, I say I'm sorry.
People will talk about this show
forever.
Time will tell, and people will talk about this show the way people talk about Andy Griffith's show.
I was going to say, people will talk about this show the way people talk about this show. Because we're number one in our category. So, you just remember that, Ron. Rancid. Rotten rant.
He still got a show?
I don't know.
Just give people shows for anything.
What is this, June now? Maybe. Maybe he's still on the air. I don't watch that.
If Ron still has a show, then two people can get on a camera and just talk about nothing.
Right. If Ron can have
don't
a
just
show...
let people do anything.
I agree with you. If Ron can have a show, then that tells me that any two morons can set up a camera and some lights and just talk for a half an hour and put it online and no one's going to stop them.
And dress how as obnoxious as they want and just do it.
And we know that's not true.
People just do this.
And we know that's not true.
If Ron still has a show, that's what that tells me.
Right, because what kind of world do we live in? If any two morons could just set a camera up and drink beers and talk about nothing for a whole half hour and expect people to actually watch it. Because I can tell you on this show, we don't expect anyone to watch it. So.
It makes me sad.
Makes me, I don't know, something. So for Keith White Jr., international best-selling children's author, and
Salvatore Morocco, a.k.a. Duran.
Not Larry this week?
Who's Larry?
I'm Larry. So
Who's Larry?
For Keith White Jr. and I don't know whoever he is this week, this has been Tavern Talk 716, and we will catch you down the road or down here in the bunker.